Welcome everybody to another edition of 5 Minute Adventures. Today we find ourselves in New Westminster, British Columbia. We're in this beautiful cemetery called the Fraser Cemetery with views of the Fraser River right in the heart of the city here of New Westminster. We are going to talk today about Mr. Raymond William Stacey Burr, better known to everybody as the actor who played Perry Mason, TV movies, etc., as well as Ironside, the TV show Ironside. So let's talk a little bit about him. We're going to take a look at his grave, and get to know the man a little bit more. So this cemetery was established in 1869. Rumor is that it is full. There's no more room for anybody. As we take a quick look around here, you can see there's plenty of headstones. Most of them are laying flat, so it can be a little difficult to find who you're looking for sometimes. Thankfully, Raymond Burr's his plot and his headstone are marked really clearly on Find a Grave. So as of the recording of this, it is a sunny December the 1st, 2024. Just taking a look around the cemetery here. You can see the buildings off in the background. It's called the Fraser Cemetery because you've got views of the Fraser River just in front of you right there. It's not a huge cemetery by any means, but today we're going to talk about Raymond Burr. Born here in New Westminster, his parents got divorced when he was young. His mother moved him down to Vallejo, California to live with her and his grandparents. As he was growing older, he worked to support his family, doing various jobs including a ranch hand in Roswell, New Mexico, a deputy sheriff, a photo salesman, and a singer. World War II, he served in the Navy. In Okinawa, he was shot in the stomach and ultimately sent home. So he really wanted to pursue acting as a career. As such, he decided he wanted to take a course at the Pasadena Playhouse down in Pasadena, California. He couldn't afford the tuition on it though. So in 1934, he joined a traveling tour company out of Toronto. They toured through Canada, India, Australia, and England. He began his association with the Pasadena Playhouse, though, in 1937. He moved to New York City in 1940, where he made his Broadway debut in a show called Crazy with the Heat. That show closed after only 3 months. His first leading role was as an emergency replacement at the Pasadena Playhouse in 1942 in a play called The Quiet Wedding. He appeared in more than 50 films between 1946 and 1957. Film noir credits include Desperate, Sleep My Love, Raw Deal, Pitfall, Abandoned, Red Light, M, His Kind of Woman, The Blue Gardenia, and Crime of Passion, as well as so many more. In The Place in the Sun in 1951, he played an aggressive prosecutor, which caught the attention of Gail Patrick and Cornwell Jackson, who ultimately then cast him in the TV show of Perry Mason. Originally cast not as Perry Mason himself, but rather as a different character by the name of Hamilton Berger. During the 40s and 50s, he did all kinds of radio shows like Pat Novak for Hire, Dragnet, Suspense, Screen Directors Playhouse, Yours Truly, and so many more. March of 51 to June of 52, he used the alias of Ray Hartman and did over 30 different radio acting credits under that name. In 1956, he starred in a radio show called Fort Laramie, directed by the creators of Gunsmoke. And then in August of 1956, it was announced by CBS that he would star as Perry Mason himself. He had to go on a crash diet though. Raymond Burr was never a small man, but he had to lose some 60 pounds in order for him to be able to play that role. That series of Perry Mason ran from 1957 to 1966, had an average of 30 million viewers every week. He won an Emmy for the role in 1959 and 1961, and the series has been in syndication on TV ever since. They say that Perry Mason never lost a case during the show, but in the early days he did lose 2 cases. And those were the only 2 cases that he lost over the run of the show. 1967 to 1975, he played the lead role in the show Ironside, where it was the first depiction of a police officer with a disability. The disability was him in a wheelchair as a result of a sniper trying to end his life during the pilot episode of the show, and he was in the wheelchair, of course, for the duration of the show. Ironside would bring him 6 Emmy nominations as well as 2 Golden Globe nominations. He got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1960. He had several failed shows between 1975 and 1987. However, in 1987, he hosted the pilot episode of Unsolved Mysteries, which ultimately was then going to be hosted by Robert Stack. In 1985, he returned to the role of Perry Mason for a made-for-TV movie. He would do a total of 26 made-for-TV movies as Perry Mason. By 1993, his health had declined, however, and he was now using a cane on screen. Ultimately, he did end up in a wheelchair. He did do a return of Ironside movie that aired in May of 1993. And his final movie was Perry Mason and the Case of the Killer Kiss. 12 more Perry Mason movies were scheduled before he ultimately died on September the 12th of 1993. He passed away in Healdsburg, California at the age of 76 years old. His cause of death was malignant kidney tumors, so cancer ultimately got him. He was married briefly to an actress by the name of Isabella Ward from January of 1948. It only lasted a few months, and the divorce was finalized in 1952. It came out after his death that apparently Raymond Burr was gay. So he hid that for his entire career because he didn't want that to affect his career. His life partner, who he met on the set of Perry Mason, was Mr. Robert Benavides. Robert passed away earlier this year in California, and that's where he's buried. The two of them had a vineyard together, as well as a few other businesses and whatnot. And that vineyard down in California was renamed to the Raymond Burr Vineyard sometime before Raymond's passing, and it was then sold not too long ago, a few years ago. The two of them were life partners for 33 years, from 1960 until 1993, when Raymond passed. So in his career, he was nominated for a total of 9 Emmy nominations. 2 of them he won for Perry Mason. He also received the 2 Golden Globe nominations. In 2008, Canada Post released a stamp with his face and name on it. 2009, he received a star on Canada's Walk of Fame in Toronto. His brother James died in Los Angeles and is currently buried at the Los Angeles National Cemetery. His sister, Geraldine, is here beside him. She passed in 2001. His parents, both William J. and Minerva A., buried here along with him in New Westminster. His ex-wife, Isabella Ward, died in 2004, and she was buried in Dover, New Jersey. So that's just a quick stop off here at the grave of Mr. Raymond Burr in New Westminster, British Columbia. We thank him for his time and his dedication to his craft, providing us with so many hours of entertainment over so many years, and he lives on in film and will live on forever as the iconic role of Perry Mason. So I'm going to say thank you so much for joining me today on this 5-minute adventure, and I'll see you in the next one.